morning, students. I welcome you all back to the online classes conducted by Kendriya Vidyalaya Singrauli. This is your English class, and today we are going to discuss the poem Rain on the Roof, composed by Coates Kinney. This is the third poem in your textbook, Beehive. Before we proceed with the poem, let's discuss something about the author, the person who composed this poem. Coates Kinney was American by birth. He was a lawyer, politician, journalist, and a poet. The poet who wrote this particular poem, Rain on the Roof. His poetry, his poems have been collected under the names Cuca and Other Poems, which was published in 1855. And the second collection is The Lyrics of the Ideal and the Real, published in the year 1888. The poem Rain on the Roof came to be the most popular of his poetry, and one striking feature of this particular poem is that it was set to music. The poet died in Ohio in 1904. Let's begin with the title of the poem itself. The title of the poem, Rain on the Roof, it clearly reveals its theme. As we read this title, it comes to our mind that the poem is all about rain. Here the poet is telling us about the memories he has of the rain. And he says that when he hears the sound of the raindrops falling on the roof of his house, he is taken back to the past. The sweet memories of the past are recollected in his mind. The poet loves to lie in bed and hear rain falling on the roof of his room because of the same reason, because of the sweet memories of his past. He says that this beautiful sound of the rain falling on the roof helps him to fall asleep, and this in its turn gives him sweet dreams. He also recollects the memories of his loving mother, who would put them to sleep. Them here refers to all the siblings, the poet and his siblings, and the sound of the raindrops is compared to the lullaby sung by his mother to make children go to sleep. Let's begin reading the poem now. Here you have the text along with glossary section. You can see I have highlighted a few words or phrases here, and the meanings are also given along with that. So the poem goes like this. When the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears, what a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. So this is the stanza 1 of the poem, and in the very first line the poet has introduced rain. When the humid shadows hover, humid means moist, something which is full of moisture is called humid, and shadows, humid shadows in this line refer to clouds, dark clouds, clouds which are moisture laden. When the humid shadows hover means to move around something, continuously moving around something is hovering. So the poet says that when the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres. Now starry means covered with stars. So obviously we are referring to the sky here, sky covered with stars. Over all the starry spheres. So the starry sphere here refers to starry night, sky covered with stars. And the melancholy darkness. Melancholy means sad. Melancholy meaning is given here as well. You can refer to that. Melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. So the poet says that when at night the sky is covered with dark clouds, starry spheres refer to, as I told you, night sky. But if the clouds are covering the sky, it means stars won't be visible. So starry spheres here refer to night sky. And the melancholy darkness. Now the poet refers to the darkness. Darkness here is night. He refers to the night as being sad, dull, as if things have come to an end. There is silence all around. Gently weeps in rainy tears. Now look at this line. Rainy tears. Tears here refer to the raindrops that are falling from the sky. The poet is visualizing. He's making the readers visualize or imagine as if the skies are shedding tears. Skies are so sad that they are shedding tears. What a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. Cottage chamber bed means bed in the room, bedroom you can say, and lie listening to the patter. Patter is the sound of the raindrops that fall one after another on the roof. That continuous sound is called patter. So what the poet is doing here, he is describing the scene. It's a rainy night. The sky is covered with dark clouds, and in such a situation, the poet loves to sleep in his bed. Press the pillow. Pressing the pillow means sleeping. You can look at the picture. The man is sleeping on his pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. And his favorite pastime in such a weather is to lie on the bed and listen to the patter of the raindrops. He loved listening to the sound made by the raindrops. Now moving on to stanza 2. Every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart, and 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being start, and 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof, as I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. So here look at these words. Tinkle. Tinkle is a short ringing sound. Shingles. Now shingles refer to wooden tiles or rectangular tiles made of mud that are used to cover roofs, used on roofs. You can look at the picture here. This is the picture. The first picture is that of a roof covered with shingles. Now in the second line we have the word echo. Echo, I guess all of you know the meaning of the word echo. It means a sound that is repeated, that comes back to you. A sound that is reflected back to you is called an echo. Every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart. Now the poet here is expressing his feelings when he hears the raindrops falling on the rooftop of his house. He says every tinkling sound, the sound made by every raindrop falling on the rooftop, it has an echo in his heart. Means he feels that the sound of the falling rain is repeated in his heart. Means he imagines something, he dreams of something, he recollects something from his past days, and 1,000 dreaming fancies into busy being start. Now as he listens to this sound, the sound of the rain falling on the roof, he has many different fanciful imaginations. He adds that the sound of the rain falling on the rooftop creates new dreams in his mind. He is able to imagine or visualize different new things. He recollects many memories of his past also, which come back to his mind as dreams. And 1,000 recollections of the past. Recollections means memories. 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof as I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. Now see, woof, warp and woof. This is actually a pattern. When a fabric is woven, look at this picture. Lengthwise weaving, that is called as warp, and this horizontal weaving, that is called as weft. These are called webs. So woof is weaving of this thread into a fabric. So what the poet is saying, when he listens to the patter of the rain upon the roof, 1,000 memories of his past came flashing back to him. Along with that, he has 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being start. Busy being here refers to human beings. And in this particular context, the poet calls himself as a busy being. So, in his human mind, 1,000 new dreams came running. This is the third stanza now. Now in memory comes my mother, as she used in years agone to regard the darling dreamers, ere she left them till the dawn. Oh, I feel her fond look on me, as I list to this refrain, which is played upon the shingles by the patter of the rain. Now in memory comes my mother. The very first line makes it clear that the poet remembers his mother. Here the poet introduces the readers to his mother. He says he remembers his mother as she used in years agone. Years agone means in the past years. Somewhere in the past, years back, years ago. To regard the darling dreamers. Now, darling dreamers here refer to children. She left them till the dawn. Is, it's an archaic word. It is nowadays, it's not used. It was used in Old English and it means same as before. Meaning is given here, old poetic word for before. So, means before. To regard the darling dreamers before she left them till the dawn. Now he remembers that his mother used to come to the children every night and she would make them go to sleep. And then she would leave them till the dawn. So they would have a blissful sleep after their mother made them go to bed. Oh, I feel her fond look on me as I listen to this refrain, which is played upon the shingles by the patter of the rain. Now look at this word, oh, this has an exclamatory mark. It's a mark of exclamation here. So the poet here expresses a sudden feeling. He's feeling sad. I feel her fond look on me. The mother is no more with the poet. He is recalling her memories and he feels sad, although he is happy to remember her, but he is sad at the thought that she is no longer with him. Oh, I feel her fond look on me as I list to this refrain. Now look at these words. List here means listen. This is another archaic word. Archaic means old word, words which were used in Old English. And refrain actually is repetition of a line or a phrase or a part in a song or a poem. That is called a refrain. It's a poetic device. As I listen to this refrain, now listening to this refrain here refers to the sound of the rain, because it is the repeated sound. That is why the poet calls it refrain. The poet says, as I listen to this refrain, which is played upon the shingles. Shingles we discussed in the previous stanza as well. By the patter of the rain. So he says whenever he listens to the sound made by the rain falling on his roof, he remembers his mother and he feels as if she is looking fondly at him. So here we see the poet feels that his mother is looking at him as he listens to the sound made by the raindrops, and whenever he hears this sound it brings back memories of the past and is reminded of his mother. Let's talk about the theme of the poem now. The theme of this poem actually revolves around the nature, the healing power of nature. In this particular poem, the healing power of rain. The poet tells us that the musical sound of raindrops falling on the roof have a healing power on him. He is able to revive sweet memories, and also fanciful ideas arise in his mind, a mind which otherwise remains busy all the time. So the rain soothes and comforts the poet, or we can say the rain soothes and comforts an overworked mind by taking it back to its lovely past. Let's discuss poetic devices employed in the poem now. Poetic devices, as we discussed in the previous poem as well, we have discussed a few of them. We have talked about simile, metaphor, alliteration, personification, and we have a few of them in the present poem as well. So let's have a look at them. The first poetic device employed is alliteration. Now, alliteration, as all of you know, is repetition of same initial consonant sounds. Repetition of same initial consonant sounds. Yes. Now look at these examples. Lie, listening. L sound is repeated at the beginning of both the words lie and listening. So this is an example of alliteration. Similarly, in starry spheres, starry, s sound, spheres, again s sound. This s sound is repeated. Humid hover, her sound is repeated at the beginning of both the words. And press, pillow, per sound is repeated at the beginning of press and pillow. Now the second poetic device employed is personification. Personification also we have discussed. It means addressing a non-living thing or an object as a person, or using a human quality to describe a non-living thing or an object. So examples here are melancholy, darkness. Melancholy, as we discussed, it means sad. Now sadness is a virtue of living beings, but the darkness has been described as being melancholy. So this is personification. Darkness is personified. Second example is 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof. Now memories, recollections as we discussed means memories. Memories weaving their air threads, which is again another example of personification. The next poetic device employed is transferred epithet. Transferred epithet is a poetic device in which an adjective is added before the name of a person or object in order to describe positive or negative qualities. Like example is melancholy, darkness. Darkness is melancholy. It's sad. So this is a negative quality. Second example is dreamy fancies. Fancies means imaginations. Imaginations, dreamy imaginations. Dreamy is the adjective added before imagination. Now the fourth poetic device that is employed here is onomatopoeia. It is a poetic device in which certain words are used to denote real life sounds. Like chatter. Chatter is an example of onomatopoeia, although it's not there in this poem. So examples from this present poem are patter. Patter is the sound, that repeated sound. And tinkle. These are the examples of onomatopoeia. So students, this was the poem Rain on the Roof by Coates Kinney. I hope you are able to understand the poem. And now I have a home assignment for you. You have to write these in your in the home assignment section of your notebooks. On the basis of your understanding of the poem, you have to write the meanings of these 5 phrases. Humid shadows, starry spheres, what a bliss, 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being start, 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof. So that's all for today's class. I hope the poem is clear to you. For any queries, we can always discuss this in the next session. So thank you all. Stay home, stay safe.